Welcome back to From the Shed End. I hope you're all doing well on this Wednesday afternoon. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. Please make sure you like the video and leave your thoughts in the comments as always. Now, we've got a good game coming up tomorrow. We are flying out as a squad to Geneva for the second leg of the Conference League, taking a 2-0 lead in the first leg. Goals from Noni Madueke with a beautiful shot in the first leg, and obviously Nkunku's penalty from last Thursday's game. Now, this is a game that obviously we really do need to show a really good performance. As I keep saying in these videos, we have to show some consistency, some really good back-to-back victories and some really good performances. And I think we got to see that, as I keep saying, against Man City, albeit from a 2-0 defeat. But also I do think against Wolves we were amazing. The attackers were amazing. We played amazing football and I was impressed with how we started. So I do think we need to continue and maintain that sort of momentum going forward. Now, obviously, this game comes at a very difficult period for a lot of players, as I spoke about some of the transfers that potentially we might see move on from Chelsea over the next 48 hours or so. And also potential incomings. Obviously, Victor Osimhen, that deal has seemed to have picked up again, although it does look like the club that's trying to sign him in Saudi Arabia is more likely to sign Victor Osimhen. So there is, I still think, some movement in terms of who we might sign, who we might get going forward in the transfer window in those forward attacking options as a number 9 striker. So I do think there's a lot of things that will be going on in between this game for Maresca, the scouts, the technical directors and everyone else upstairs at the club to resolve before the deadline day. But let's talk about Servette, obviously a team that did cause us some issues in the first leg last Thursday. I did feel that they were always a threat. When it was 1-0, I wasn't confident that we could take that 1-0 lead into the second leg. And if you remember back to my preview last Wednesday, I did say that we would need to ensure that we take something, a nice little cushion back to Geneva in Switzerland for the second leg, just so it allows us a bit more opportunity to maybe rotate a couple of players or maybe stick with the squad that was in the 11 last week. So I do feel a lot more confident and comfortable going into this second leg. Obviously, we know that we are probably one of the favourites to win outright the Conference League. So we do have to play like one of the favourites. We have to perform regardless of who we're playing, whether it's Servette or a team that has a bit more potential and calibre about them. We still have to perform like this is the final, or we're playing, you know, one of the top European clubs that might be in the Conference League with us as well. So in terms of the performance last week, you know, as I said last Thursday, you know, I think we played well in the second half. I think we struggled potentially in the first half, but I do feel the second half, with some of those substitutions that came on, there was a different dynamic to the lineup, to the way that we were playing. And we obviously got to see straight after the second half with Nkunku's penalty just how crucial that first goal was. And it allowed other players like Dewsbury Hall to come into their game and to play really, really well, and to find a lot more space. And obviously, as the game went on, the game got a bit more stretched for Servette. They struggled with the pace of the game, and we were able to go on and score another goal with Noni Madueke. So I am expecting more of the same tomorrow night. I think we have to hit them on the ground, the front foot, hit the ground running, and make sure that we get an early goal. I think that's crucial tomorrow. We have to get an early goal in order to ease some of those nerves. What we don't want is Servette to score the first goal, and then before we know it, we're struggling to try and finish our chances. Now, I do have to say this, and I want to talk about the lineup actually. So let's try and go through the lineup. Now, for me personally, Philippe Jorgensen has to start and goal. I thought he pulled up some really brilliant saves, and I had him in my squad that I would have started on Sunday against Wolves. I would have started him against Wolves. But, you know, I think he's one of those goalkeepers that will come in time. We'll see the transition of maybe Sanchez moving out to the second choice, and maybe Jorgensen can get the first nod from Maresca most weeks. But I think he's a brilliant goalkeeper from what we've got to see of him so far. I thought he pulled off some really good saves last Thursday to keep the tie, you know, clean sheet for us going into that second leg. So I was really impressed with him. Now, I do think I've always said I like to see players being played in their position. Now, we do know that Axel Disasi is a player. I think he started the game last Thursday as a right back for us. I'm against all that. You know, I don't like that at all. If you know me, you'll know that I like to see my players play in a particular position. If they're a right back, play them as a right back. If they're a centre back, play them as a centre back. It's just common knowledge, common sense to me. So I would play, obviously, Reece James is still, I believe, injured for this game. I would still put Malo Gusto, albeit I know he played on Sunday. I would still put him in the team on Thursday. And I know there's a Crystal Palace game to look ahead to on Sunday, but I feel like we've got to put out a strong squad and get some consistency in that defensive line as well. I think that's so crucial for us to make sure that the defensive line, yes, we can tweak it and rotate it every now and again, but I do feel that we need to make sure that we keep the back line, especially the back line. You know, you want to get that cohesion, that relationship between the four of the defenders to a T throughout this season. So I think for me, Axel Disasi, yes, very good option as a right back, but I would play Malo Gusto just because you want some consistency in that back line. Now, Tosin and also Benoit Badiashile played relatively well last week. I would say that they looked very comfortable. Maybe that was because they had a very comfortable goalkeeper in the goal, in between the sticks. So I think maybe I would stick with those two. I still have a lot of reservations about Badiashile. Is he Chelsea level? I'm not 100% sure. You know, if I'm being honest, and obviously we can't do this, but I would have liked to have seen someone like Trevor Chalobah, you know, be added into this squad and be registered to play in this game for him to be able to get at least some minutes, especially with the news that he might be staying at the club as well. I think this is a perfect game. You'd want to put someone like Trevor Chalobah in. So it's unfortunate he's not available. But I would start with Badiashile and I would start with Tosin. I would start with the both of them and see how that centre-back partnership continues, whether they can pick up where they left off last Thursday, which I think they can. I think both of them, you know, as I said, they looked very comfortable with the goalkeeper behind them, playing as they did. And as the game went on, as I said, you know, the game got very stretched for Servette. They struggled to take their chances, and I think they might do the same in this return leg as well. Now, left back, I've gone with Renato Vega, who, again, very, very unfortunate for him, because as much as Marco Correa is playing really, really well, we do have Renato Vega, who, again, although he's a backup to Marco Correa, he's someone who looks very solid in that position as left back. He's able to understand his positional awareness. He knows where he needs to be. He's able to drive forward the ball. He can get stuck in with a couple of tackles as well. And I think we need, in this game, it isn't going to be as easy as it was at Stamford Bridge, but we do need someone that can play in that position. And also, he can also, I know he can play centre-back, but I do feel, and I know I've just said that about Disasi, but I do feel he looks more comfortable to me as someone that can play in that left-back role. So I'd start with him as my left-back. Now, my two in the middle, in the midfield, I've gone for Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall and Enzo Fernandez. Now, I know there was a bit of an issue, obviously, with Lavia, who missed the game on Sunday against Wolves. And obviously, Moises Caicedo, I think, came off with a slight knock in that game against Wolves as well. So I would rest both of those players ahead of the big game against Crystal Palace on Sunday. And I would start with Dewsbury-Hall, who I thought had a relatively decent game last week as well. As I said before, grew into the game as it progressed, came on against Wolves, done something very similar in terms of just building up his understanding of how Chelsea will be playing and how he will be playing for Maresca as well. And as I've said before on here, I feel like Enzo Fernandez is a player that Maresca rates very, very highly. Has made him captain on a couple of occasions now. And I think, for me, I think he has to start those two. As I said, Lavia obviously probably isn't fully fit, missed a couple of training sessions, I think. And also Caicedo, who, again, came off with a knock. So I think you will probably see that too in the middle. Now, this is where it gets a bit interesting, because obviously João Felix didn't get registered in time from his signing with Chelsea to be included in the Conference League squad. So that does give us a bit of a dilemma going forward with the attackers. So I have gone with Pedro Neto. I would rest Noni Madueke for this game. I think, again, we need to try and keep the squad as fresh as possible. I would start with Pedro Neto. I would then have Christopher Nkunku as the 10. I would then have, and this is where I feel like I'm going to be sick when I say this, but I would give Mikhailo Modric a last chance saloon, a last chance to redeem his Chelsea career, because to be honest, I think I've run out of things to say about him, criticising him pretty much every video I get the opportunity now, which is unfortunate for him. But I do feel that Modric has got one last chance and he has to take it, and he has to perform like he wants to be in this Chelsea squad. If he can't do it, then we just need to drop him. We just need to drop him like we've done with Sterling, like we've done with Chilwell, and all these other players that are Trevor Chalobah, another one. If he's not doing it, we need to drop him. We just need to drop him. It's as simple as that for me. But I would have to start him. Obviously, we're quite limited in terms of obviously João Felix. I think if he was registered, he would be in the team 100%. But I do think we have to go with those three behind the striker. And my striker I've gone for is Mark Gu, who I think, again, let's rest Nicholas Jackson. I want to see Mark Gu, see what he can do going forward, to see if he's capable of being able to lead the line, make those runs into the space behind the defenders. And I think he will get opportunities in this game. We obviously had that really good opportunity in the first leg with the open goal where he should have scored. And I think that's just maybe a confidence thing, playing in front of, your new home crowd. So I think we will probably see some changes. I think Mark Gu will get the nod. And I think like I said, he'll get chances. So I expect to see him on the score sheet. I think the fact that we don't have a recognised number 9 that is very clinical, it's open game, it's fair competition for all the strikers that we do have in terms of Nicholas Jackson, in terms of Mark Gu, in terms of Christopher Nkunku that can play there, João Felix that can play there as well. So I think it's fair game for all of those players to be able to try and pick out the best qualities of themselves and try and apply them on the pitch tomorrow night as well. So I'm looking forward to the game. I do think it's going to be a really challenging game. I do think Servette will go for this game. They will try and put the pressure on us straight away. So that's why I'm saying the first goal for us is crucial. We have to get that first goal. We have to be able to see the game out, kill the game. Something I said against Wolves, I was shocked that we did that, the 6-2, but we have to kill this game off very, very early. Then we can bring on certain players, start swapping the squad, rest certain players that might be in contention to start on Sunday. But I think we have to get the result here. No ifs, no buts. We have to get it done. Maresca has to get it right. Substitutions are going to be key for this game. We have to make sure that if we go 1-0 down or we go 2-0 down, we have to be able to make those quick substitutions, make sure that we get the players that need to be on the pitch. The Cole Palmers, the Noni Maduekes, if they have to come on, they have to come on. And we have to make sure that we get through this game positively tomorrow night. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also hit that Linktree link in the description that takes you to all the podcasts and social accounts as well. And we'll be back with a review of the game tomorrow night. I think maybe it might land on Friday. Who knows? Who knows what's happening this week? But you will get the review at some point before the end of the week. And we'll also preview the Crystal Palace game on Saturday as well. As I said, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And until next time, we'll be back very soon. Thank you very much for watching.